In 2023, Herpa released a Antonov AN-124 with the Be Brave Like Kharkiv sticker. I believe there was another one as well, and then this one which we have right in front of us. However, all at really crazy retail prices. Because of that, many of them didn't sell that well and, well, could be snatched up at sales, like for example right now going on at the FMB shop. You can find a link to them in the description below. But is the model really worth it? We'll find out. And with that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look, as mentioned, at an Antonov 124-100 of Antonov Airlines. At the front of the box we have a cutout so we can get a glimpse of the aircraft model inside, and we have the Antonov Airlines branding on top and the addition of the Ukrainian flag integrated into the box design. Well, the backside of the box is no revelation. It is still the dreadful box design from Herpa Wings overall. Really does not benefit Herpa's standing in the community whatsoever, but they continue with this. So the only thing worth mentioning here is the fact that it is a limited edition. And here she is, the Antonov AN-124-100 in the current standard livery of Antonov Airlines, however, with the little addition of a sticker saying Be Brave Like, and then a name of a Ukrainian city. I will try to pronounce it, Okhtyrka. I'm not quite sure if this is correct, but it is a small town in the Sumy Oblast. And of course, we have seen now various iterations of this Antonov 124. This is in fact the 005 version of Herpa Wings, which means it's the 6th edition of this aircraft model, but with a new registration. So this is the Uniform Romeo 82008. But let's together go through the aircraft model to see what it actually offers collectors, starting up with the tail section, where we on the vertical stabilizer have the writing of Antonov and then the start of the Ukrainian flag design that is then also displayed across the aircraft. On the fuselage we then of course find the full registration code of the aircraft, and we have a few markings here and there, and then as mentioned the blue and yellow stripes, which of course represent the Ukrainian flag. Now, towards the tail of the aircraft, we don't really find the APU exhaust, as I do believe that is placed elsewhere on the Antonov. I think this is just a little bit of an imperfection in the print. The APU exhaust, I do believe we can find here at the belly of the aircraft. However, if I'm wrong about this detail, then please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. At the front of the aircraft and across the fuselage, following the blue or yellow and blue sheet line, we of course then find the Antonov Airlines branding, or, well, advertisement, I guess we could call it, with the full phone number, fax number even, and email address. Quite cool here. And then of course we do have the Ukrainian flag, again the logo of Antonov Airlines. And then, of course, we have just underneath the cockpit windows the sticker with the Be Brave Like Okhtyrka sticker and aircraft type specification. Around the cockpit section, of course, then have the cockpit windows with the window wipers. And we, of course, have the main cargo hatch here at the nose. This, however, cannot be opened. This is purely a printed detail, just like the branding of Antonov Airlines here underneath the nose of the aircraft. Of course, when the real aircraft would open its nose, this then is prominently displayed across the airfields. But not in this case. As I said, this is not an interactive model, unfortunately. But what about the engines? Well, let's take a look. Here we can see the engine nacelles, which have been kept in mostly white, but do also, like the fuselage, have the blue and yellow or yellow and blue stripes. We also have the silver leading edge and the safety markings printed on, which is really benefiting them overall. The physical detailing is okay. I guess I've seen it better with other aircraft types, but it's still fairly good, especially here from the front, where we very nice you can see the engine fan blades. Then we can move on to the wings, these top-mounted wings, where we on the top side can see the different flap slats and spoilers carved out quite nicely. We don't really have any major printed details here, but when we look at the underside of the wing, we can see we do have some nice physical detailing and the full registration code of the aircraft. And one thing we can note, both on the wings and also on the horizontal stabilizer, are these red markings at the end. I'm not sure if it actually has a function, but it looks quite nice. And then we of course have the landing gear here, the main landing gear, and just look how lovely and chunky that looks. I really love the look of that, both in real life and what Herpa has done with it. I think that's really solid. Also the front landing gear, this double front landing gear, also really nicely executed by Herpa Wings. And on the belly of the aircraft we can note something quite unusual. We don't have a hole in the fuselage, which makes sense because we also don't have a stand with this aircraft model. And this is how all aircraft models from Herpa Wings and Scale 500 should look like, in my opinion. And then at the tail or at the belly of the aircraft we do find some more printed details. That's of course because the real aircraft does have another hatch here, and if you have ever seen that in real life, it is quite the spectacular look when you can look through the aircraft, because it can be opened both at the front and back end of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Antonov AN-124-100 in the standard livery of Antonov Airlines, with the addition of the Brave Like Okhtyrka sticker in scale 1:500 by Herpa Wings. And what can we say about this aircraft model? Now, Antonov models are usually quite popular among collectors, so why did this aircraft model not sell out and can still be found in shops around, and often for quite huge discounts? Well, I think it is the combination of the fact that this is already the 6th iteration of this aircraft, and then in combination with the official retail price being 43 euros, it was just a bad mix. And the benefit, of course, for collectors nowadays is that, as I say, it goes for often quite big discounts. Now, I wouldn't say that this is necessarily an aircraft model you need to have in your collection, especially not if you already have some of the previous Antonov 124s, because there aren't really any improvements. The only addition you have is, of course, the sticker. So if you really need to complete your fleet, then maybe yes. Or if you haven't had an Antonov 124 before in your fleet, then I think this is a really good model to go for, because it is genuinely a quite good model. The print quality overall is quite good, and also the physical detailing of this aircraft model is really nice. And another really big benefit to this aircraft model is that even though it has top mounted wings, which is an Achilles heel for Herpa Wings, normally these kind of aircraft models, well, the wings just fall off by just looking at the aircraft model when it comes from Herpa. But as this aircraft model is actually technically not made by Herpa themselves, but in the Ukraine by Antonov Airlines themselves, at least according to my sources, well, they have actually been using glue, and you can see it as the wings are solid as a rock. So in conclusion, we have a fairly solid Scale 500 aircraft model of a really unique aircraft type that definitely does not really do anything for collectors who already have this aircraft type in their fleet, but for any new collector, especially with the big retail discounts that you can find around, then I think it is a really nice Scale 500 aircraft model to add to one's collection. And with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, then feel free to leave a like. If you're new around here, why not hit subscribe? And with that, thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.